coming to get you, Barbara.
Where do I begin? Well, I guess saying I'm a big fan of the animated show is a good place to start. Avatar: The Last Airbender was without a doubt a masterpiece of storytelling, world building, and character development. I would honestly call it my favorite television show ever. It had a clear story to tell, a beginning, middle, and end, and it didn't overstay its welcome like so many other television shows at the time. Especially that one. Watching the animated show is like feasting on ice cream with a cherry on top and covered in sprinkles and chocolate. Watching the live-action movie based on the show is like eating the exact same thing. Except the ice cream is 3 years expired, the cherry is rotten, the sprinkles are actually rat droppings, and the chocolate is some good old-fashioned dog crap. This film does so little right and so much wrong, it's a total train wreck. And since I'm a glutton for punishment, I've rewatched this film so that I can warn all you viewers about the dangers that lie within. So let's get started. First of all, the story and plot is horrible. For some reason, the director and studio executives thought it was a good idea to take all 20 episodes of Book 1, each 30 minutes in length, of which only 3 episodes could be classified as filler, with the rest containing necessary information that is vital to the overall story, and condense all of that into a 2-hour-long film. I'm sorry, that can't be done. You'd have a better chance of pushing a watermelon through your nose. The Legend of Aang was a story crafted and designed to work in television. There is so much vital information that comes into play in the series finale that you just can't leave out. But the film does. For example, Suki, a valuable member of the team and Sokka's love interest. Sokka's love interest. Nowhere to be seen. Can't fit her in. The White Lotus tile that foreshadows the secret organization of elderly badasses? Not even mentioned. The worst part is that all of the stuff the film does keep from the show is either rushed to make way for the runtime or just flat out neutered. It can't afford to stop and take a breath. There isn't a single moment in this film where some kind of exposition is not given. That huge dilemma that Aang goes through about accepting his responsibilities as the Avatar, which in turn is the whole reason he ran away from the Airbenders and was accidentally frozen in the iceberg, is all trimmed down to one single line.
It wasn't very smart. I was just upset.
Hell, even Sokka, or whatever, his relationship with the princess, something they gradually developed over the course of 3 or 4 episodes, is shortened down to a single fucking line.
My brother and the princess became friends right away.
That's not fun or engaging to watch. Why should I care about this relationship if the film doesn't care about it enough to develop and explore it and show it? I guess it doesn't help that all the actors are emotionless and just flat out boring. Humor me for a second. What's the difference between this...
Monkey Atsu's gonna try and jump out and scare me at any moment. He's the teacher responsible for me. He's kind of like my father.
And this.
Hey, guys! I want you to meet somebody.
Who's that?
Monkey Atsu, the greatest airbender in the world. He taught me everything I know.
Given up? The answer is actually quite simple. One of these characters is actually fun to watch. In the show, they had distinctive personalities, they were fun and engaging. All the actors in the film just feel like they're on autopilot. The only 2 actors who were actually kinda fun to watch were the guys who played Zuko and Iroh. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't care if the filmmakers wanted to properly pronounce the characters' names. If they really cared about being culturally accurate, they wouldn't have hired white actors to play Inuit characters. But I don't need to rant about the whitewashing this film did. The internet did plenty of that when the film came out. So, from here on out, I'm just gonna pronounce their names like it is in the show. Like they should have done in the first place. Anyway, the film's biggest crime is that it's just so boring. Even the action scenes are boring. Action scenes are meant to be fast-paced and energetic. These are slow, and worst of all, poorly done. In the show, one kick or one punch can have the element the character can bend, react in different ways. In this, they... Oh my god.
She's cracked like a nut, so they call her macadamia. Whenever she gets mad, you'll experience mania. Cuts and bruises, you will sustain ya. Oh, macadamia.
Okay, why have them dance around like idiots to move one friggin' pebble? All it does is confuse the audience to what they're doing. In the show, when you see someone kick the ground and the earth moves, your brain automatically connects the two. You can see the cause and effect. When they dance around for 5 seconds and a boulder floats in the air, there is no cause and effect. So you're just left bored and confused. Now granted, I know I shouldn't be comparing this movie to the show so much. It's a movie. It's supposed to be its own thing, which would be fine if the movie did anything as good or better than the show. Or perhaps if it did things so differently that there was no point in even comparing. But it doesn't. It's just telling the same story the series did, only a crappier version of it. They should have told their own story, with their own characters, but set it inside the Avatar universe. That would have at least been admirable. It's kinda hard to not compare it to the show when every flaw it has was avoided in the show it's adapting. So, after ripping this film a new one, you guys probably think I'm gonna give this film a negative star rating. Well, as much as I'd like to, I can't. That rating is only deserved for the worst of the worst. Films with nothing good in it. Thankfully, there is some good things in this film. It's a very, 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 very small amount of good things, but good things nonetheless. Like I said, the film's portrayal of Zuko and Iroh is actually good. The actors do a good enough job, and the film does actually stop and develop their relationship for a second. Actually, if the film focused completely on these characters, it probably would have been a good film. How cool would it have been to see a film told from the bad guy's perspective, with the hero's journey shrouded in mystery, almost like another film is happening during the same time but off-screen. The special effects and design is pretty much this film's saving grace. It's all clearly CGI, but the bending effects are actually really well done and never look too fake or too unrealistic. The animal effects, however, look satisfactory at best, especially on Appa and Momo, who completely disappears from the film that it almost makes it pointless including him at all. The costume and set design is really good. I like how they took Aang's arrow tattoo and put a bunch of smaller tattoo designs in it. That's a nice update. The Firebender armor looks good, and even the ships in different locations they go to visit look very beautiful. This film is bad, and worst of all, it's boring. The plot is way too complicated and takes itself way too seriously. The actors are emotionless and bland with the exception of a couple of decent performances. It's slow-paced, never fun to watch. It fails to capture everything that made the show great, and instead just feels like someone adapted the Wikipedia story synopsis of the show. The only thing this film has got going for it is its special effects, costume, and set design. It's a turd, but it's a decent looking turd, which is why I give this movie a rating of total garbage, 1 out of 5.